Howdy all. Welcome to Facebook live event of SETU. We are presenting today Weave. Weave as in Women Empowering Acts in Virtual Environment. I would like to hereby add that SETU, Stage Ensemble Theatre Unit based out of Boston, is not a women activist group. Though we love celebrating and presenting art and like to touch upon socially empowering, thought-provoking, and entertaining subjects. My name is Gunjan Kotiala. I'm your bindas, bubbly and chirpy host for the event. And I have with me our beauty queen, Sugandha Gopal from Boston, Setu.
Hello, everyone. I am your co-host, Sugandha Gopal. Thank you so much, Gunjan Kotiala, for that lovely introduction. Friends, Setu means bridge. And our mission is to build bridges between Indian and Western culture. Today, we are here to talk about women empowerment, which is still a burning topic across all cultures, through some very powerful monologues and scenes from well-known playwrights across the world and across centuries. Friends, Setu has always been very conscientious of its role in society to bring social issues to their fore through its plays. Though we are not an activist group, but art should reflect society. Art is a powerful medium for change. When globally no country has attained gender equality, it is pertinent that we keep talking about it. With that, I announce the opening of Weave, conceptualized and directed by Subrata Das. With that, I invite our first guest, Aditi Taylor. The stage is yours, Aditi. Welcome to Weave.
Thank you, Sugandha. And good afternoon, everybody. My name is Aditi Taylor, and I am going to present a soliloquy from T. Fularani. This is the Marathi adaptation of George Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion. In this Marathi adaptation, the esteemed playwright Pula Deshpande included a very unique and incredible composition in a very rhythmic and poetic fashion. In this composition, the character lashes out in fury against the professor. This is my humble attempt to translate Pula Deshpande's writing in English. At the start of the scene, the professor, who's really taken a wager to transform this uncouth flower girl into a sophisticated woman, has left frustrated with his own actions, calling her an imbecile, uncouth, calling her stupid, idiot, and haramzadi. Feeling belittled and left alone to cry, Manju, in this monologue, lashes out back at the professor, sometimes in fury, sometimes showing how empowered she really is and feels. Act. Assa kai, Professor said. Stupid, idiot, haramzadi, you said. Wait till this time I teach you a lesson. Your sins are tipping the scale, but no longer will I fail. You think you are the greatest professor, but to hell with all your grammar. Let's pour down the drain this knowledge. Gosh, who even wants to go to your college? Your A and B and the rain and the Spain, taking a wager on your profession. Wait till this time I teach you a lesson. When I strip you of your vanity, you'll come begging with insanity. You'll come gulping your pride, but I'll simply say, hello, how come you're on this side? You'll want my forgiveness, and I'll wait for a bit of classiness. So just get out of sight, stop squirming, all right? Enough with your confession. Wait till I teach you a lesson. You wait and watch my story. You'll see me in all my glory. Oh, ho, ho, ah, ha, ha, oh, ho, ho, ah, ha, ha, how sweet, lovely, charming, how sweet. Everyone falling at my feet. Hi, Manju. Hi, Dilip. Hi, Manju. Hi, Philip. Manju Bain came show. Come, let's take you to the hanging garden. I beg your pardon. They'll give me a fancy sari or splurge me with expensive jewelry. They'll take me on a red carpet procession. You wait till I teach you a lesson. And then he'll arrive out of the blue, riding a white horse out of the hue. Our eyes will barely meet, and instantly he'll fall at my feet. Oh, my darling, I'm smitten with your beauty. So charming and so witty. Don't look at me in ire, oh angel, just ask what you desire. I will still be shy, letting out a loving sigh, passionately say, stop this ruckus, The whole world will just laugh at us. Can it really be a big chance to fly? Or is it Christmas in July? Hell no, there's absolutely no chance that a poor damsel like me will have this chance. And then will arrive himself the king. Oh dear, marry my son and take his ring. All the courtiers will pray eyes wide. Oh dear, by the king's wishes you must abide. Ha ha ha. All right, begin the festivities and the celebration. You watch how I teach that professor a lesson. I will say, O king, bring the professor hitherto. Fold his eyes and tie his hands and slay his neck with a lightning strand. Or just tie him to the back of a horse and whip him with no remorse. The king will say, as you please. Guards, go bring the inglorious bastard here. You come, holding on to your life, dear, rolling at my feet, crying incessantly with every beat. I'll remember your A and B and the rain and the Spain and the way you used to yell at me. Face now what your destiny shall be. The king will say, let him be slain. I'll say, it's okay, let him live again. You'll say, oh Manju dear, I'm sorry, I surrender. And I'll say, for he who surrender, there ain't no murder, there ain't no murder. Scene.
Awesome, Aditi.
Thank you so much, Sugandha.
So very important for women to know when to give in and when to give it back. And thank you for teaching us that true trait of empowered women. Thanks, Aditi. What a nice start to weave. Now I would like to welcome Anil Matta as the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. So what happens when the Prime Minister is asked whether he's a feminist at a Q&A of a United Nations Women's Forum? Let's hear from our very own Anil Matta. Welcome, Anil.
Thank you.
Apparently, you're quite comfortable describing yourself as a feminist. Tell us about it.
Well, look, first of all, I'm going to keep saying it loud and clearly that I'm a feminist. Until it is met with a shrug. Why does every time I say I'm a feminist, the entire Twitterverse explodes and the news media picks it up? It is something that should not create a reaction. It simply is saying that I believe in the equality of men and women and that we have an awful lot of work to do to get there. It's like saying the sky is blue and the grass is green. So the fact that it still garners a response, a positive response, means we have to keep using that word more and more often. And if I can encourage people to keep saying that they are feminists, that they are raising their children to be feminists, they're raising their daughters obviously to be feminists, but more importantly, their sons also, which is what my extraordinary wife, Sophie, has been drilling into me. That's not about empowering our daughters. It's also about encouraging our sons that they empower their sisters, however annoying she or they might be to each other as kids. But that mindset is how we shift the perception, and engagement is something, yes, we have to keep working on. And I'm proud to be able to keep pushing that. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. It's only men like you who know that it's not cool to somehow lose half of your potential and resources. Women empowerment is not an add-on. It is a core of the entire development of nation. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, I come to welcome my third guest for this afternoon, none other than my lovely friend, Meghna Karodi. Meghna, welcome.
Hi, Sugandha. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. This is Meghna Karodi, and I'll be playing Kate from Uncommon Women and Others by the playwright Wendy Wasserstein. So Kate is a very bright, young, efficient girl who's actually enrolled into law school. But she's also very tired of her very robotic life that she's leading. And she's kind of bogged down by these expectations and standards that she's setting for herself. And I think this is very relevant to some of us women who are constantly trying to prove something. To whom? Why? In this simple scene, Kate expresses her innermost feelings to her friend Carter. And this is at a college reunion. So I hope you enjoy it. Act. Carter, do you think I'm boring? I was just reading Wittgenstein and I tried to imagine the film version of it. I even lit a candle and tried to imagine the film version of it. And all I could come up with is, you're very weird. Carter, you can interrupt me if you want, but I always thought it's a waste of time to scatter one's energy. Now, I'm not saying you're wasting your time with Wittgenstein films. It's certainly not redundant, and it's a great field for women. But the possibility would have never occurred to me. Carter, I'm afraid my life is so directed. I will grow up to be this cold, efficient lady in a gray business suit, and suddenly there I'll be, this uncommon woman, ready to meet the future with steadiness and gaiety and a profession, and what's more, I'll organize it all with even time to blow dry my hair every morning. Tonight, everything just seems so programmed. For once, it would be nice to wake up with nothing to prove. Sometimes I wonder what I'd do if I didn't go to work or I didn't have to go to school for a while. But if I didn't fulfill obligations or if I wasn't exemplary, I really don't know what I'd do. I have a stake in all these uncommon women expectations, and I know I'll do them really well. Carter, I don't mind that you're not chatty, neither am I. But sometimes I think you let me into your world, which is more interesting, more imaginative than mine. When I'm with Holly and Muffet, I congratulate myself on being such a well-prepared grown-up. But I'm always watching myself. But when I'm with you, I'm not watching myself. I'm comfortable. Now, isn't that hot, Carter? You're not a particularly comforting person, and we have that in common. I feel as if I'm under-articulating this. I came in here because I just got into law school, and I don't think I should go. I don't want my life to simply fall into place. Carter, can I stay here for a while? I'm frightened. Seeing.
Lovely, Meghna.
Thank you.
What all you said is something all of us can relate to. But I wish, why are we women so hard on ourselves? We need to take it easy. Thank you, Meghna. And I now come to invite my next guest for this afternoon. She is a very talented actor, and yes, she is a dancer too. The multi-talented Swati Biswas. Welcome, Swati.
Lord Shiva was pleased with the devotion of the king of Manipur and bestowed him with his blessing that all children born in his family would be males. Yet, when his daughter Chitrangada was born, the king raised her like a son. Chitrangada mastered archery, learned about war and politics. The famous Pandava Arjun came to Manipur for a visit during his observance of 12-year-long brahmacharya. At first, Arjun mistook Chitrangada as a boy and ignored her. Heartbroken, Chitrangada prayed and with God's blessing transformed into a beautiful woman. Arjun took notice. However, Chitrangada also learned that Arjun was longing to meet the legendary Chitrangada, the warrior princess. She got rid of her disguise, and in this scene, Chitrangada is formally introducing herself to Arjun.
I am Chitrangada, the princess of Manipur. Neither am a goddess nor an ordinary woman. I do not expect you to worship me on a high pedestal. I do not wish to be ignored and just follow your footsteps. Allow me to be by your side in good times and when the times are tough. Allow me to be your companion in your most difficult endeavor. Then and only then you'll realize my true worth. But for today, let me just introduce myself simply as Chitrangada, the daughter of the king of Manipur. Scene.
Thank you so much, Swati. Needless to say, it was very, very elegant and profound. Thank you so much for your act, Swati. Appreciate it. We have next Ananya Chatterjee from New Hampshire. Ananya, stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Gunjan. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ananya Chatterjee, and I will be enacting the character of Beatrice from William Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. Beatrice is a pleasant-spirited lady with a very sharp tongue. At the outset of the play, she is all content never to get married, and in a way, she poses a challenge to the gender convention during that period, during that time, as she comes across as a woman who is more domineering rather than submissive and strong rather than weak. So my act is a conversation that is taking place between Beatrice, her uncle Leonardo, and her cousin Hero. Leonardo is all concerned as to why Beatrice would not take a husband, and that's when Beatrice provides her justification as to why she would not get married and starts mocking men. Hope you all like it. Act. Being too ill-tempered is different from being simply ill-tempered, right? So I suppose I could avoid God's punishment, for in the old proverb it is said that God gives an ill-tempered cow short horns so that she can inflict damage on anyone. But it doesn't say anything about a cow that is too ill-tempered. I pray every morning and night that the Lord won't send me a husband. Really, I couldn't stand a husband with a beard. I'd rather be wrapped in scratchy blankets all night. And what would I do if I find a husband without a beard? Dress him up in my clothes and pretend he's my lady's servant? If he has a beard, he's more than a boy. If he doesn't have a beard, he's less than a man. If he's more than a boy, he's not the one for me. And if he's less than a man, I am not the one for him. They say women who die unmarried are destined to walk babes to hell. And I suppose that'll be my fate as well. And on to the gates of hell, where the devil will meet me with horns on his head like a cuckold and say, "Go up to heaven, Beatrice. Hell is no place for you virgins." And I will fly up to heaven, where I'll be met by St. Peter guarding the heaven's gate. And he is going to show me the place on heaven where all the bachelors sit, and I will have fun there forever. But no, I won't take a husband until they make men out of something other than dirt. What? Women wouldn't be distressed, being lorded over to a handful of dust? Can you imagine being hitched to a lump of clay? No, uncle, I won't be getting married, and anyhow, if Adam is the father of all mankind, then his sons are my brothers, and really I believe that incest is a sin. But cousin Hero, when your prince comes to woo you, make sure he does it properly and appropriately. If he's too insistent, tell him that romance, it is like a dance. It has its own rhythm and timing. The 3 stages of romance are like 3 different dancing. The wooing, it's like the Scottish jig, all hot and fast and full of whimsy and illusion. The wedding is like a dance you would do before the king, all proper and so decorous. And finally, you get to the part where you regret having gotten married in the first place. It's like this lively syncope. It goes faster and faster until you eventually topple over and die. Scene.
Ananya, I couldn't be more proud of you for your beautiful performance, and of course touching a very, very important topic, I feel, I mean, needless to say, still in South Asia, we feel, a lot of families, we feel that marriage is the aim of life. It's not just the part of life, so thank you for touching such a topic. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Gunjan. Thank you.
We have next our valuable guest for SETU's event today, and she is Ana Canida Carneiro. Ana is an award-winning and published Brazilian-Italian playwright, translator, educator, and scholar. She grew up in Brazil and lived 15 years in Italy before immigrating to the USA in 2015. Ana is a visiting artist and playwright at Amherst College. She is the founder and artistic director of the Babel Theater Project, a hub to discuss and make theater at the crossroads of languages, cultures, and disciplines. Visit and support her work at babeltheater.org. The Virus is a piece in progress written for her friend Shaw Harrell, decolonizing identity within and between performer and audience. Ana, stage is all yours. Thank you.
I'm an actor. I'm not an actor. I'm someone that pretends to be an actor often and persistently when I am called to be an actor. And often I'm called to be an actor. I'm often called to be something that I'm not, but that I am expected to be while not being what I am deep inside being, what I'm not, something that someone has dreamt that I'm being. That I'm not, but that I am while I become it in the moment that I act, how I am expected to be in the moment that I show what I am, but that is deeply expected. And I'm very much expected to be something that I'm not, something that I am while not really being that thing that I'm not, but then start being. I am expected to show something, that's something that I'm not, but that then become what people expect me to be while not being, and then be exactly that thing while showing in the moment that I show I am, but I'm not. I am showing it right now. I am being this thing that you expect me to be. That I'm not, but I am, while being showing like an actor shows being, not an actor, but something else that is being what you expect me to be right now. This is who I am. This is who I am because you decided that I am what you expect me to be during all this time while I'm being what I am supposed to be, not to be what I'm because you think that I am what I'm being while not being. I am. I am showing and being while showing the being that I am while actually never being what I am, because in the moment that I am, you expect me to be what you think I am, and then I become immediately that person that I am not right now, in front of you right now, in front of you right now, in front of you. And you are seeing me while I see that you don't see me for who I am in the moment that I show I am, what you expect to see when I'm not, which we are seeing right now. And you imagine, oh yes, you imagine that I am what I'm being when you see that I am that which you expect me to be while I'm not. Give me a chance to not be. To be while not being what you see I am when I'm really not that, but want to be what I am. What am I? I am that which you are not, so you can be who you are, or you think you can be who you are by saying who I am, while actually not knowing who you are, who you and me are, but you say what I am while I'm not. I am that you are not because you defined yourself by not being what you say I am, but because you say that by being you become what you are, and I have to be here, right in front of you, being who I am not, so that you can say you are what you think you are. But I'm not. I am not an actor.
Wow. I'm speechless, Anna. I mean, as a budding artist myself, I cannot imagine how you memorize and how you prepare yourself for such a profound and act. Indeed, thank you so much for your time for SETU. Appreciate it. Thank you.
A great event. Thank you.
Thank you. We have next our guest, our SETU family member. She is Sachi Badola.
My message is that we'll be watching you. This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet, you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. And yet, I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction. And all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight. You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil. And that I refuse to believe. The popular idea of cutting our emissions in half in 10 years only gives us a 50% chance of staying below 1.5 degrees and the risk of setting off irreversible chain reactions beyond human control. 50% may be acceptable to you, but those numbers do not include tipping points, most feedback loops, additional warming hidden by toxic air pollution, or the aspects of equity and climate justice. They also rely on my generation, sucking hundreds of billions of tons of your CO2 out of the air with technologies that barely exist. So a 50% risk is simply not acceptable to us. We have to live with the consequences. To have a 67% chance of staying below a 1.5 degrees global temperature rise, the best odds given by the IPCC, the world had 420 gigatons of CO2 left back to emit on January 1st, 2018. Today, that figure is already down to less than 350 gigatons. How dare you pretend that this can be solved with just business as usual and some technical solutions? With today's emissions levels, this remaining CO2 budget will be entirely gone within less than 8.5 years. There will not be any solutions or plans presented in line with these figures here today because these numbers are too uncomfortable and you are still not mature enough to tell it like it is. You are failing us. But the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say, we will never forgive you. We will not let you get away with this. Right here, right now is where we draw the line. The world is waking up, and change is coming, whether you like it or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachi Badola. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Greta Thunberg speaking on the UN climate strike speech. Thank you, Sachi. You were amazing as Greta Thunberg, as always. So now I would invite our next guest, who is a power couple and would be joining us from India, Bhavesh and Anu Sharma. Welcome to Weave. Looking forward to your act.
Thank you, Sugandha, for that wonderful introduction. So without further ado, here we go. Good afternoon, friends. The beautiful medium of theater involves such diverse mediums to spread the awareness of arts, culture, and socio-political issues. One such medium is street play. And with that comes to mind a legendary artist, Sardar Hashmi. Well known for revolutionizing street plays to voice against socio-political injustice in India. His work was so fierce that he was murdered at an early age of 34 in Uttar Pradesh. But he still lives through Jana Natya Manch, or Janam for short, that he founded. Myself and Anu will present to you today as a radio play, a piece from his famous play, Aurat, where he highlights the plight of women through various phases of life. Act.
Pythagoras theorem state A square is equal to B square plus C square.
Munne, are you Munne? Where the hell are you, Munne? I sent you to fix my chillum an hour ago. Kya hua?
Pythagoras theorem state is equal to B square plus B square plus
Kyori, is this a home or your school? I returned from work almost an hour ago. How long should I be sitting?
Baba, I'm trying to memorize this lesson. Masterji said I should do that home. And if I have any doubts, I should ask you, Baba.
Ask your Baba. If you ask your Baba, he will say sit at home and learn household chores. What will you do by going to school anyways? It's not as if you're going to open your own office.
Acha Baba, Masterji was saying I have to get my books by tomorrow. Else, they will cancel my admission. Also, the school uniform needs to be washed and ironed. School spectre is coming tomorrow, Baba.
Bastards. There's more of business than to misguide my kids. There isn't enough food in this house for 2 meals. The monsoon season is upon us and I haven't even saved enough to start repairing the roof. And these shitheads need your uniform ironed.
Hello all. I'm not sure if the connection kind of broke away because they are joining us from India. So I am assuming that the act is done for now. It was very nicely done. And this shows the passion of Setuites. Wherever they are, they will do. Are you back here?
Sorry, I'm interrupting. Yeah,
Would you like
there
to
was a
complete your
network
act?
issue.
Would you like to complete your
Yes,
act?
please. Yes.
Yes. The floor is yours.
No, Baba, no, please. I want to study and I will go to school.
Oh, baby, don't cry. You should do household chores. You're not a kid anymore. You're almost 14. School, you'll go. You know what? I'll find you some simple work around. And listen, we need to stop playing outside like those rowdy boys.
By the way, Baba, please buy me a skip rope. I want to play.
See, that's why I said don't send girls to school. If you do, they need to spend on stationery, uniforms, and now this skip rope. What else is next?
Baba, please, skip rope.
I will get you a skip rope. Why don't you hang yourself with the same? Your mother is dead. You should also die. Good riddance for me. I have one son. I will bring him up one way or another. But how will I provide for you? It's been 5 years and I have not seen a penny worth of rise in my salary. When I asked for one, my boss threatened me with firing me and getting me beaten by goons. And you want books, stationery, and this new toy? Haramzadi, go and do some dishes, chal. You want to go to school? Nonsense, you won't.
I will. Each morning, all the kids wear beautiful uniforms and take school bus. I will go too.
What these kids spend on fees, I don't make in a month. Chachal, now get up and get some atta from Lala.
He does not give any atta.
Arey, why? He's not doing any favor. It's just a loan.
He does not. But his son says.
What does he say?
He says,
What does he say?
He says, if you want the atta on credit, come alone at night after the shop closes.
Son of a bitch. If I didn't have a loan to repay, bastard. Scene.
Excellent, Bhavesh and Anu. You always amaze me with your passion, and it is beyond midnight in India. Still, you are doing it in spite of all the technical problems you face. Thank you so much. Now we move in the next segment, and with great pride and honor and joy, I present to you Mukta Munjal as Michelle Obama, who talks about a very important topic, women's education. Welcome, Mukta.
Hi,
Hi,
I'm Michelle Obama. Hi, I'm Michelle Obama, and I will be speaking on women education. The more I travel, the more I meet girls and learn from experts about girls' issues, the more I realize that barriers to girls' education are not just resources. It is not just about access to scholarships or transportations or bathrooms. It is also about attitudes and beliefs. The belief that women are not worthy of an education. The belief that women have no role to play outside their home. That their minds don't matter, their bodies don't belong to them, and their voices simply shouldn't be heard. Like many of you, as a woman, I take this personally. Like many of you, I know how it feels to be underestimated, to be overlooked, to only half listen to your ideas in a meeting, to see them turn to the man next to you, the man you supervise, and assume he's in charge. to listen to those whistles and taunts when you walk down those streets. And I've seen how these issues play out, not just at the personal level, but at the national level in our laws and policies. You see, in my lifetime, and I'm not that old, in my lifetime, it was perfectly fine for employers to discriminate against women. In my lifetime, women were not allowed to make any fundamental decision about their bodies. In my lifetime, domestic violence was treated as just another matter between a man and his wife, rather than the horrific crime that it is. And today, all these freedoms, all these progresses are under threat. Always at the risk of being rolled back if you let your guard down for a minute. These issues are not settled. These issues that we take for granted are not guaranteed in stone. And they certainly did not just come down to us as gifts from heavens. No. These issues were secured by long, hard battles waged by women and men who marched and protested and made their voices heard in courtrooms, in boardrooms, in voting booths, and halls of Congress. And make no mistake about it, education was central to every last one of these efforts. Thank you. See.
Excellent, Mukta.
Thank you.
Girl education is the only way to gain gender parity, because when women are educated and empowered, they lift communities and create that ripple effect. Awesome. Great choice.
Thank you.
Now I would welcome Niloy Mukherjee. He has a very interesting act. Niloy talks from the vagina monologues, and the act is Hair. This act explores a woman's response to aspects of sexual domination by her husband, who insists on an exotic fetish. And ladies and gentlemen, I do not think anyone else except Niloy could have done it. He's amazing. Let's welcome Niloy. Mukta, can you switch off your video?
It is off.
Okay. Yes, now perfect. Welcome, Niloy. Can you hear me, or are we running into another technical glitch here?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, loud and perfect.
Right. You cannot love a vagina unless you love hair. Many people do not love hair. My first and only husband hated hair. He thought it felt dirty and cluttered. He made me shave my vagina. It looked puffy and exposed, like a little girl. When he made love to me, I guess it felt like how a beard would feel like. Good to rub against. It excited him, but it was painful. It felt like itching a mosquito bite. The whole thing was on fire. And then there were these screaming red bumps. I refused to shave it again. And then my husband had an affair. We went to marital therapy, and he said that he was screwing around because I wouldn't please him sexually. I wouldn't shave my vagina. The therapist, she had a strong German accent. She would say, between sentences, she would say to express her empathy, "Why you don't want to please your husband?" She asked me. told her. It felt weird. It felt like when my hair was first growing down there and I was a little girl, and then I started talking in a girly voice. And then there were the skin irritations, and the lactobating cold lotion wouldn't help. And she told me marriage is a compromise. I asked her, if I shaved my vagina, would my husband stop screwing around? I asked her, did she have many cases like this? She said, questions diluted the process. She told me to jump in. She was sure it would be good beginning. That day, when we went home from therapy, he got to shave me. He nicked me a few times. There was a little blood in the bathtub, but he didn't even notice. He was so happy shaving me. And then afterwards, when he pressed his body into mine, I could feel his spiky sharpness sticking into me. My naked, puffy vagina, there was no protection, there was no fluff. I realized that the hair was there for a reason. It is like a leaf around a garden, like a lawn around a house. You have to love the hair in order to love the vagina. You can't pick the parts you want. And besides, my husband never stopped screwing around. See.
Wow, Niloy. Let's see the man who did this. Awesome, Niloy.
Thank you.
Well, this is again a great example of the gender bending roles championed by SETU. So we have been doing it for a while. SETU's effort towards women empowerment, they took a giant leap with our bold gender bending all-female cast production of Karnat's The Fire and the Rain in 2018. Our effort was not about women pretending to be men, but rather giving women an opportunity to take on roles that were created for male actors. And the resounding success of the show proved it right. Go Setu! Yay! So now let's move on to our next guest, our co-founder, Jayanti Bandyopadhyay, a lady who is always very excited about her acts, and I learned a lot from her personally. Welcome, Jayanti Di.
Thank you, Sugandha, for your compliment. My monologue today is titled, My Life Has Four Phases, authored by my dear friend and Setu's very own Subrata Das. The monologue is about a self-assured woman who is recollecting, reminiscing, and reflecting upon her life that can only leave you empowered and full of optimism. Act. My life has four phases, not three, as do most Indian women. My life has been divided into the time of my pre-marriage, post-marriage, and growing old. I did say post-marriage twice, didn't I? That was deliberate. I had a divorce. And yes, I have used that simplistic life structure used for Indian women to myself because that's what society at large perceives. And I see all of you are very comfortable with that structure as well, without even acknowledging my own career and accomplishments. Frankly, the schools, and if you're lucky, the colleges, in your pre-marriage phase are largely irrelevant. The education for women is merely a lip service to find a suitable groom and then to soon after produce children to preserve the husband's lineage. Now, parts of my journey through these phases deviate and defy, thanks to my progressive parents. And you are about to hear the unfettered version of it. I'm an outlier as an Indian woman. I guess every woman who resists the flow of societal norms is always an outlier. What made me different then? My mother has been married to the same man for over 70 years, a perfect housewife who never ventured into the corporate world. Was my defiance the product of my upbringing, surrounded by college boys, students of my father, a professor? But that did not stop them from taunting at me, winking at me, or even proposing to go out with me. Frankly speaking, I did enjoy that extra tension occasionally, and strangely felt empowered. It's a different story if we ever fall in love and get married to one of them. The dynamic in which they have the upper hand slowly changes, but never equalizes. Well, one might hypothesize that there was never love to begin with, just a fascination and sexual desire. Oh no, I did not fall into that trap. I instead was married using the popular hybrid approach in contrast to fully arranged or a love marriage. Someone introduced me to my ex-husband, with permission from my parents, of course. And thus began my second phase, overlapping with completing my higher education. It began with praise and satisfaction from my family and friends. No one really expected anything else from me, despite impressive academic achievements. Oh yes, now the kids. Yes, there were two. Within 5 years, with a reasonable gap, I was flying high with the usual stuff, kids' activities, curry exchanges with friends, parents visiting, vacationing twice a year, pizzas and hamburgers replacing fancy restaurants, and not really no deviation from the typical life of a married Indian woman. Within a decade into our marriage, my partner and I became object to each other. Everything in life became routine and systematic, even in bed. The blame, of course, passed squarely onto the mother, who had nothing better to do than raising children and doing household chores. Two things could have happened at that stage: maintaining the status quo or reinvent the romance, which doesn't necessarily mean just hiring a babysitter and going out to fancy restaurants. I guess the latter was really not an option for a woman like me, because there was never any love to reinvent. As it turns out, there was a third option, which I wasn't even aware of. An extramarital affair that is largely exclusive to and only acceptable for men. According to the Oxford Dictionary, a trauma is a very distressing and disturbing experience. I have my own definition, albeit by example. Unexpectedly seeing your husband's vehicle parked outside your friend's house when it was supposed to be at an airport parking lot. You've been in denial despite rumors. That was the only thing left for a woman like me whose experience has never been other than being a housewife to be in denial. But I had enough, and thus initiated the end of my second phase. Within my social circle, things remained sympathetic at the surface level, with an underlying untouchable divorcee label that was silently placed upon me. Exceptions, of course, were parents who would love me regardless of the circumstances, and often in abundance. A struggling single mom can find solace in finding a job or pursuing higher education. Well, I chose the latter, and thank God I did. I was rewarded with a teaching job at a university. You know, I always believed in the zero-sum game of life. You work hard, sacrifice to achieve your goal, and somehow you are rewarded in some way. In my case, I was gifted with a person, and thus my third phase began. That's someone who I want to see first when I wake up in the morning. That's someone who I want to have a cup of tea face to face. And that's someone I want to go out for a candlelit dinner. And that's someone I want to confide in with my deepest pain that need relief. You get the idea. Did I just define love by example? I am a social outlier with an additional phase, but I am happy, I am free, and I am victorious. And now I can look forward to be with that someone and to growing older. My fourth and last phase. Scene.
Wow, Jayanti, may you always be that happy and enjoy that glass of wine, sitting pretty in a chiffon. You beautifully brought out the story of a woman who would not settle for anything else but what she deserves. Thank you, Jayanti Di.
Thank you.
Friends, now I have a very special, interesting monologue from my friend Chandrala Malkut. Welcome, Chandrala.
Thank you, Sugandha. Hi, I'm Chandrala. Katherine Johnson was a world-class scientist and mathematician at NASA. She was a human computer who was able to calculate the insertion velocity and angle of manned spacecraft programs. In this monologue, she portrays her frustration at being so capable and so brilliant, and yet not allowed to use a bathroom because of her color. Last month, NASA named one of its new buildings in the name of Katherine Johnson for her contribution to space research program. She died this year at the age of 101. This monologue is from the movie Hidden Figures, script written by Alison Schroeder. Act.
Where the hell have you been? Everywhere I look, you're not where I need you to be. And it's not my imagination. Now, where the hell do you go every day?
To the bathroom, sir.
The bathroom? The damn bathroom? For 40 minutes a day? What are you doing there? We are T-0 here. I put a lot of faith in you.
There are no bathrooms for me here, sir.
What do you mean there's no bathroom for you here?
There are no bathrooms. There are no colored bathrooms in this building or any building outside of the West Campus, which is half a mile away. Did you know that? I have to walk to Timbuktu just to relieve myself. And I can't use one of those handy bikes. Picture that, Mr. Harrison. My uniform, skirt below the knees, and my heels, and a simple string of pearls. That I don't own any pearls? Lord knows they don't pay colored enough to wear pearls. And I work like a dog day and night, living off of coffee pot that none of you want to touch. So, excuse me if I have to use the bathroom a few times a day. See,
That was truly powerful and great choice of monologue. It must really, I am amazed that this was not very long ago that this was happening. In fact, Katherine Johnson passed away in 2020, February 2020, and this was just happening almost like half a decade ago. And we should be absolutely thankful that we are in such freer environment now. Thank you, Chandrala. Beautifully done. Now I would like to invite Yogita Niharia with an act full of fire. Welcome, Yogita.
Thank you, Sugandha. Thank you so much. Let me just adjust this screen a little. Hello, everybody. Today I'm performing a monologue from the play Oleana by David Mamet. Oleana is one of the most controversial plays ever written. It is about the power struggle between a university professor and one of his female students who is so fed up of his pompous attitude that she accuses him of sexual harassment. And by doing so, she spoils his chance of being accorded tenure. This monologue that I'm going to act out is Carol's confrontation with her professor John, where she accuses him of a lot of things. Act. Professor, I came here as a favor at your personal request. Perhaps I should not have done so, but I did on my behalf and on behalf of my group. And you speak of the tenure committee, one of whose members is a woman, as you know. And though you might call it good fun or an historical phrase or an oversight or all of the above, to refer to the committee as good men and true, it is a demeaning remark. It is a sexist remark, Professor. And to overlook it is to countenance continuation of that method of thought. You love the power, Professor. I'm sorry. You feel yourself empowered. You say so yourself. To strut, to posture, to perform, to call me in here. Hey, you say that higher education is a joke, and you treat it as such. You treat it as such, Professor, and confess to a taste to play the patriarch in your class. To grant this, to deny that, to embrace your students. And do you think it is charming to question in yourself this taste to mock and destroy? But you should question it, Professor. You should question it. And you pick those things which I feel you advance you. Publication, tenure, and the steps to get to them you call harmless rituals. And you perform those steps. Although you say it is hypocrisy, but to the aspirations of your students, Professor, of hard-working students who come here, who slave to come here. You have no idea what it cost me to come to this university, Professor. You mock us. You call education hazing. And from your so protected, so elitist seat, you hold your confusion as a joke and our hopes and efforts with it, Professor. And then you sit there and you say, what have I done? What have you done, Professor? And you ask me to understand that you have aspirations too. But I tell you that you are vile, that you are exploitative. And if you possess even 1 ounce of that inner honesty that you mention in your book, and you look in yourself, you will see those things that I see, Professor. And you can find revulsion equal to my own. Good day. Scene.
If this video is shown, any professor could get scared to have a student like that. But wow, we need women like that who will stand up for themselves, stand up against injustice. Beautifully done, Yogita, as always.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sugandha. Thank you, everybody.
Friends, we are in for a treat. I would like to introduce our very special guest for this afternoon, Elaine Van Hogg, who has graciously agreed to be a part of Weave. Elaine is a director, actor, and teacher. She performs, directs, and teaches in diverse settings, professional, university, community, across the country. Selected directing and acting projects: The Kite Runner, Straight White Men, Imaging Madoff, A Disappearing Number, Dark Room, Mrs. Packard, Good Breeding. Wow, the list is endless. So impressive, Elaine. Elaine is a passionate and active member of the Magdalena Project, a dynamic international cross-culture network of women's theater and performance, facilitating critical discussion, artistic support, and training. Elaine would be doing a short monologue from Representation and How to Get It, authored by Joyce Van Dyke. This is a solo performance which will be premiered in the fall, inspired by the abolitionistic, suffragist, and human rights activist Julia Ward Howe. The performance honors the 19th Amendment Centennial in 2020. The passage of the 19th Amendment guarantees and protects women's constitutional right to vote. Welcome, Elena. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank SETU for having me today, and I'm honored to be able to share this excerpt from Representation and How to Have It. Or I should say, how to get it. I have always felt a personal attachment to the Declaration of Independence. Those thrilling words. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Oh, it makes my scalp tingle all the way down my back. I take it personally because my great-grandfather helped to write it. Samuel Ward. He was chairman of the Continental Congress in Philadelphia. These are our words, aren't they? Communal, like a prayer. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Oh, the pursuit of happiness. What a phrase. What a brilliant formulation of what it means to be free. An American has the right to pursue happiness. But do I? The Declaration doesn't say I do, and it doesn't say I don't. It doesn't say anything about me. The silence is killing. Oh, Great-grandfather Ward, I lay my questions at your feet. I'm to give a talk today about representation for women, and I must know. Did you mean to leave me out of the Declaration? Did you do it on purpose? Or was I just beside the point? Was I not even worth thinking about? Me, Julia, your lineal descendant, inheritor of your name, your blood, your love for this country. But what kind of citizen am I? A citizen who has no right to vote, no right to representation, no right to give consent to this government whose laws I must obey and whose taxes I must pay, no right to pursue my own happiness. You didn't exclude women from the Declaration, but you didn't include us either. Women are simply not mentioned. We are glossed over, as if we don't exist. Is this a defect in the Declaration? Could it have been an oversight? Why does no one talk about it? Because it seems very clear to me that if you are a woman, and quite a few Americans are, your rights are alienable. The Creator may have endowed me with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but those rights are taken away by men. I declare that there is no America for us women. It is America to you men, but it is Russia to us. And if you do not amend this, I prophesy that someday it will become Russia to you also. This country will be overtaken by absolutism, by despotism. The geographic America will not remain free without the moral America. Thank you.
Wow, Elaine, I'm really out of words. This is indeed very thought-provoking, and I mean, it didn't seem like an act. It seemed so natural. I mean, I'll have to research myself on the topic you just brought up. Thank you so much, Elaine, for your time for Setu and for Vive. Appreciate it. We have next Sridhar Pola, one of our dynamic and award-winning actor. Sridhar Pola,
Thank you.
stage is yours.
Thank you. You can hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm playing a character from the movie Pink of a lawyer who's defending this girl who has been accused of attempted murder. In fact, she is a victim of molestation and committed the act in self-defense. The act. No. You said no. She said no, Your Honor. She said no. And yet, Rajveer Singh continued to touch her inappropriately, continued to outrage her modesty. No is not just a word, Your Honor. No is a passage in itself, a declaration, a dictum. It needs no further elaboration. It needs no explanation, no arguments whatsoever. No simply means no. The arguments and facts presented in this case lead us to the making of the girl's safety manual. Rule number 1 of the girl's safety manual. No girl should ever go out alone anywhere with a boy. Definitely not to a hotel, a resort, and especially not to any place private, because the boy might assume that she has come there willingly and that somehow he has received a license to touch her. Rule number 2 of the girl's safety manual. No girl should ever smile too much when talking to a boy or make the mistake of touching him casually in doing so, because she might be sending him a signal, a hint. Her smile, a resounding yes in the boy's mind, and her natural human behavior might make her seem characterless to him. Rule number 3, girls should not go out late in the evenings. You see, the hour of the day decides the character in our circles. At night, when the girls are out alone, the cars begin to slow down. The windows start rolling down. The night sky suddenly makes the girls fair game for the boys. During the day, nobody thinks of this brilliant idea. And rule number 4, Your Honor, no girl should ever have a drink with a boy, because if she does, it indicates to the boy that if she can have a drink with him, she will have no hesitation to sleep with him either. Alcohol in our circles is considered an indicator of a loose or a bad character. Just for girls, not for boys. To boys, this does not apply. For boys, this is merely a health hazard. So the terms and conditions differ, Your Honor. Wearing jeans, t-shirts, short skirts, fashionable attire, etc. Girls should not be doing this. You see, by doing this, it doesn't cause any harm to the girls in any way, but it poses a deep and grave threat to the boys. The boys, they get, excited, and due to no fault of their own, end up committing these mistakes. Girls in the city should not live separately. They should not live alone. Boys can, not girls. And girls should never smile during the conversation, never be overly expressive In fact, if they have happy news to convey, they should do so in all seriousness. Don't give mobile phones to girls. Don't educate them. Don't make them literate. Get them married early, etc., etc., etc. Until today, we have been making our efforts in the wrong direction. We need to save our boys, not our girls. Because if we save our boys, our girls will be safe. She said, no. She said, no. These boys must realize that a no means no. Whether the girl uttering the word no is an acquaintance, a friend, a girlfriend, a sex worker, or your wife herself. No means no. And when someone says so, you stop. See.
Wow, Sridhar. I mean, needless to say, your act is always very impactful and very, very natural. But thank you so much, Sridhar. I feel personally very, very proud of my fellow male SETU members for bringing such, commendable topics indeed. We, as women, we are not expecting anything extra, right? All we are expecting is just equal opportunity to live. If I smoke, if I drink, we shouldn't be judged. We shouldn't be stereotyped. Just like men, if men are drinking, we don't judge them that, they're expecting or they're available. Similarly, we expect the same, from us, for us. Thank you, Sridhar. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We have next Pooja Tiwari. Pooja Tiwari?
Yeah, I'm here, Gunjan.
The stage is all yours. Thank you.
I'm not able to on my video. I believe the host will do that for me.
Anil Mata, can you please take care of that? Thank you.
Yeah, I got it. So, good afternoon, everyone. This is Pooja Tiwari. I'm performing Devyani. My monologue is a short play by Ravindranath Tagore on an ancient Indian story, Devyani and Kacha, where young Kacha came from paradise to learn the secret of immortality from a sage who taught Titan. Without knowing Kacha's mission, spying out to the secret through her, Devyani fell in love with him, wrongly thinking how he responded to. Here is how Devyani expressed her feelings upon knowing he was going back to paradise and was asking her forgiveness. You have angered my heart till it's hard and burning like a thunderbolt. You can go back to your work and to your glory, but what is left for me? Memory is a secret. Memory is a bed of thorns, and the secret shame will gnaw at the roots of my life. You came like a wayfarer, set through the sunny hours in the shade of my garden. A wild time away, you plucked all its flowers and woven them into a chain. Now parting, you snapped the thread and let all the flowers drop on the dust. A curse to be a great knowledge you have earned, a burden that, though others equally share it with you, never be lightened. A lack of love may ever remain foreign to your life, as the cold stars are unspoused darkness of virgin night. scene.
Very, very beautiful and elegant, Pooja Tiwari. Loved it. Thank you. They say necessity is the mother of invention. And that's why SETU is bringing before you today the virtual environment acts because of the social distancing, indeed. And Pooja, it was commendable to see the amalgamation of both dance and music in your act. Thank you so much for bringing this.
Thank you very much, Gunjan. Thank you, everyone.
We have next one of my favorite act, and Rohini Arespola, she's bringing to you today. Stage is yours, Rohini.
Thank you. I am Rohini Bola and I will be enacting a scene from Monsoon Wedding. It is a scene, in the scene, Ria, a young woman of marriageable age, confronts her uncle who is molesting a little girl and exposes him to the family by creating a scene at a party. This is the same man who had sexually abused her when she was a child. Act. Just let her go. Chalo. Just let her go. You bastard. Chalo, Alia. Andar jao. It wasn't enough that he touched me when I was a little child. That wasn't enough that he had to teach Alia how older people kiss. What did you get out of it? I didn't even have... You sick man. 7 afternoons. 7 afternoons of how older people kiss. Take off your clothes, Ria. Open your mouth, Ria. Look up, Ria. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. And now he's doing it all over again to Alia. And he says, I'm lying. I am lying. You don't want to believe me? Then fine. I'm not a part of this. I'm not a part of you. You know I don't lie, Chachu. You know it. People say unmarried girls like Ria, they make up all these fantasies. But you know I don't lie.
Beta, come here, Ria.
Stay away. All of you. Stay away from me. आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते हो. आपकी गलती नहीं है ना. You can't do anything. आपके बस में नहीं है. You can't help me. Can't help me. But now he's doing it all over again to Alia. See.
Rohini, you know, your act always gives me the goosebumps, to be honest. Thank you so much for bringing this topic. I was 4 years old when I went through child sexual abuse first time. And I mean, I hate to bring this up, but a lot of South Asian women have gone through some sort of child sexual abuse at some point of their life, you know. And I hope and pray that, and thank you for touching this taboo topic, Rohini. And I'm glad it's getting into limelight a little bit more lately. And I hope and pray that world becomes safer and better place for our next generation. Thank you, Rohini.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We have next my co-host, and as I said before, our beauty queen, Sugandha. She's bringing another amazing topic.
Thank you, Gunjan. I will be Nora Helmer from Henrik Ibsen's A Doll House. Nora has a startling epiphany. Using doll as a metaphor, she realizes that her role as a woman in a man's society is just ornamental. To find herself, she has to do the unthinkable, something that no other woman has done. So let's just find, what is that something? Act. Sit down, Torvald. You and I have a lot to talk about. You don't understand me. And I have never understood you until this evening. No, don't interrupt. Just listen to what I have to say. We have been married for 8 years. And until this day, you and I, husband and wife, have never had a serious talk together. A great wrong has been done to me. First by Papa, and then by you. You have never loved me. You just thought it was pleasant to be in love with me, and that was the truth, Torvald. When I lived with Papa, he used to tell me everything that he thought about. So I never had any opinions of mine but his. Even if I had, I would have never shared it with him. I knew he would not like it. He used to call me his doll child. He would play with me the way I played with my dolls. Then I came to live in your house. You arranged everything exactly the way you wanted it. So I simply took over your taste in everything. Or I pretended I did. I'm not quite sure what. Maybe it's a little of both. Now, when I look back, it is almost as if I have been living like a pauper, from hand to mouth. I performed tricks for you, and you gave me food and water. You and Papa have done a great wrong. It is your fault that I did nothing with my life. I have been your doll wife, just as I was Papa's doll child, and the children have been my dolls. I found it fun when you would come and play with me, just as children find it fun when I play with them. That's all our marriage has been, Torvald. But playtime is over. I must educate myself now, and you can't help me with that. I must learn to stand on my own 2 feet if I were to find the truth about life and about myself. That is why I cannot continue to live here any longer. That is why I am leaving you. Oh, there is no use trying to forbid me now. I shall take with me nothing but what is mine, and I don't want anything from you, now or ever. I don't love you anymore. Scene.
Sugandha, you know you are a born actress. It's in you. Whether you pick Chandramukhi or any other act, you're always so natural. I'm so proud of you, Sugandha. And I also would like to say that thank you for bringing a very profound topic again. We working women, we are being judged easily. You know, when we go out to work, it's easily judged upon whether we are looking after our kids or not. You know, whereas if a man travels for work, it's expected that a woman is going to take care of the kids, and woman is going to do all that's necessary. You know, back home. But if a woman travels, if woman has to go out and search her career or her true aspirations, she's judged upon. So I hope, you know, in the near future, the thought process changes.
Yes, and women like you would be changing that. I'm so confident.
All of us together we can. Thank you. Okay, so we have next our another special guest for the eve, and she is Paroma Sanyal. She's an economist by profession and a dreamer by passion. She is a writer, dancer, actor, and artist, all of which she uses to tell non-male-centric narratives. Her current piece, The Unsita, is her rejection of the Indian patriarchal norms where a woman is worshipped as a goddess if she mutely bears all abuse and sacrifices herself for her family. Thank you so much, Paroma. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, and before I begin, thank you to SETU for inviting me to this amazing performance. In South Asian mythology, there are a plethora of goddesses who are held up as epitomes of womanly virtue, of sacrifice, of motherhood, and of chastity. Today, I will tell you the story of one such woman, Sita. This is part of a bigger piece that I had written called The Victim Goddess, that was inspired by one of my favorite poems, The Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the Unsita. Just a minute, please. I am Sita, the perfect mother, the perfect wife, the perfect daughter, the perfect woman. In fact, some call me a goddess, a phenomenal woman. I am the daughter of Mother Earth, so called because I was found in the furrow of a field. I am the eternal furrow, born to take the thrust of the plow, to swallow the seed, to bear fruit, an inert vessel of procreation. No independent thought. Phenomenal woman. My marriage to the great King Lord Rama was heralded far and wide. Great, brave, pious husband. Meek, sacrificial wife, unquestioning shadow. The perfect marriage. One day, the gods conspired to use me as their pawn in their great game of good and evil, and my pious husband defaced a woman. The demon King Ravana, her brother, fueled by rage, do what all men do. Target a woman, me. Abducted by Ravana, I spent years as his prisoner, guarding my chastity. Then one day, a great war ensued in which Lord Rama defeated the demon king Ravana. The great Lord had fought the war for me, Sita. What piteous womanly thought. The Lord did not come for me. He did not come for Sita. There were affairs of the kingdom that was more important than that imprisoned wife. Then he came one day. Prove that you're pure, unsullied by another man's touch. Not for me, but for my subjects. For mine is the duty of a king. Prove my chastity, but my lord, my husband, do you not trust your Sita? Walk through the fire. Do you not trust your Sita? It is not for me, but for the people. Walk. Burning in anger, engulfed in shame, I walk through the fire. But cheer-ups as I emerge unscathed. They do not see my soul lying behind in the fire, turned to ashes. And then one day it happens again. Once again, I'm asked to walk through the fire to prove my chastity. Once was never enough. Once never is. I could have walked through fire 1,000 times, and yet it would never be enough. I stand accused of a heinous crime. I was abducted by a man. Intolerable sin. I was the victim of a man's lust. Intolerable, unforgivable sin. I chose to live. I did not kill myself. Intolerable, unforgivable, reprehensible sin. I can walk no longer. I falter. I beseech the earth to open up and swallow me, to engulf me, to end my shame. But the earth has no pity. She does not open up. My mother resists. My mother resists and wills me to stand up. She wills me to look her in the eye and face my tormentors. She wills me to summon the power within. I face my tormentors. They look away. They say I have gone mad. And once again, they seek to bind me in those womanly virtues. Today I abandon the heavy garb of piety that calls me a goddess. Today I abandon those social norms of motherhood, of love, of piety. I am no goddess. The fire within me spreads and consumes all. Naked, unashamed, I emerge, undomesticated, untamed. The unsita. Finally, a phenomenal woman.
And indeed a phenomenal act. So profound act, so heart-touching and so bold, Paroma. Thank you so much for your time for Setu. Appreciate it. And you touched a very perfect topic wherein, even just from my personal opinion, even from our goddess examples are such that they expect us to be sacrificing to prove ourselves, So thank you so much, Paroma, for your time.
Thank you.
We have next Tani Chaudhary. Tani, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Gunjan. I bring to you Margaret Noble from 1898, an Irish lady who came to India inspired by Swami Vivekananda and spent the rest of her days there working for humanity, working for women, for their education. What I bring today is her articulation of Sri Ramakrishna's wife, Sharada Devi. And another way of looking at it is it's almost like a Western deconstruction of a woman from India's grassroots. I should probably also say Margaret Noble later came to be known as Sister Nivedita. January 1898. My dear Mrs. Hammond, the last 4 weeks of my journey has been full of joy. The middle 3, emphatically so. And now I feel a little bit of England in me as long as the Mombasa is still in port. Indeed, they are going to invite me for dinner before they leave. The postman delivers his letters at my doorstep, and my servant, yes dear, I have a man of my own, brings my visitors to the doorstep and keeps them there till I go to them. I wish I had a camera to send you pictures of everything, but for now, I'm very much at home. Much love, Margaret. May 1898. My dear Nell, I have often thought I ought to tell you about the wife of Sri Ramakrishna, Sharada, her name is. To begin with, like many other women who are Hindu widows under 50, she wears white. This cloth goes around her waist like a skirt, passes over her body, and then covers her head like the veil of a nun. When a man speaks to her, He stands right behind her. She doesn't respond to him directly. She speaks to an older woman standing next to her, who then repeats her every word to the man. It comes that Swamiji Vivekananda has never seen the face of Sharada. Added to that, imagine her sitting on the floor on a piece of bamboo matting. All of this perhaps doesn't make much sense. Yet, when you know this woman, she is the very core of practicality and common sense and gives every token of her being to those who know her slightly. Her advice was taken very strongly by Sri Ramakrishna, and she's consulted upon by his disciples. She's the soul of sweetness, so loving and gentle as a child. You should have seen her laugh the other day when I said that we would leave at once if the Swamiji didn't come and see us. The monk who brought the message that the Swami would be delayed was quite alarmed when I started moving towards my shoes and left post haste. Her laughter, it pealed out. She is so tender. My daughter, she calls me. She's also been terribly orthodox, but all of this melted away the moment she saw two Westerns, Mrs. Bull and Mrs. MacLeod. You see, fruit is naturally presented to us, and it was presented to her as well. And to everybody's surprise, she accepted. This gave us all a sense of dignity about our work in India. In a way, nothing has. Isn't that funny? Another proof of her greatness I have is when in Calcutta, she's attended by 14 or 15 high caste ladies who are quarrelsome and rebellious and would give infinite trouble. Had it not been for her wonderful tact and winsomeness, she kept perpetual peace. There is no foundation of my statement for the character of these ladies, but my inference about women in general. There is also this wonderful chivalrous feeling the monks have towards her. They call her the mother and speak of her as the Holy Mother. She is their very first thought in every emergency. There are always one or two in attendance, and her every wish is their command. It is such a beautiful relationship to see. I would love to give her a message on your behalf if you care to send her one. She is, under the most simplest, unassuming guise, one of the strongest and greatest women. Yours lovingly, Margaret. Act.
Very elegant, beautiful, and of course, very, very perfectly articulate act, Tani. Thank you so much. We have next Thomas Arrow and Shamita Behel. And along with them, we have Jayanti Di, who has done the stage direction of the same act. And let me share with you, Jayanti Di is our co-founder for SETU, of SETU. Thank you.
Thank you, Gunjan. The title of this play is Are You an MCP? Playwright Thomas Arrow. Shilpa and Raj are a married couple with 2 kids. Theirs was an arranged marriage. This is a snapshot of one of their days. This is a typical morning. Raj wakes up and looks for his chai in his bed. Let's watch.
Hey Shilpa, where are you? Where's my chai?
Here you go, Raj. Sorry, I was making breakfast and also looking at some emails. Completely lost track of time.
You know I need the chai the first thing in the morning. The chai is late. What's this? Is this chai? It's not hot. It's not strong. Can't even get a decent cup of chai in the morning. You know what? I've been married to you for 15 years. You haven't gained any skills, but you have gained 15 pounds. A man cannot get a decent cup of chai in the morning.
Well, was it not a good start? Raj complained about his chai, and now it's time for Raj's breakfast. Let's see what happens now.
Raj,
Yeah, what do you
come,
want?
your breakfast is ready.
Why so late? What did you have for breakfast today?
I made your favorite idlis.
Oh, idli again? Hey, where's my sambar? You know I like my sambar.
I made different kind of chutneys today. At least try them.
What is this? These are idlis? These are hard as rock. You know, my mom used to make soft idlis. Next time, when she comes here, try to learn how to make some good idlis. Can't even make idlis. I don't know where did I find this girl to marry.
Yeah, why not?
Well, this did not go well. The day continues, and now Raj is working in his office. Hope the day goes well now.
Raj,
What? What do you want?
can you go grocery shopping, please? We are running low on milk.
No. I'm busy. Why don't you go? Go do the grocery shopping. At least you'll get some exercise. Get lost. I'm busy.
You know, I have work too, Raj. Besides, what are you doing? Watching YouTube videos.
So, you're spying on me? I know what you do the whole day. You chit chat with your friends and talk to your mom on WhatsApp. That's what you do. Also, what's this? You're wearing so much makeup and you're wearing sleeveless and so much lipstick for working from home? Come on.
Yeah, right. I have been sitting idle since morning. Only you are working.
Oh, again you started your emotional drama. Get lost. Go gossip with your mom. That's what you do. Leave me alone. Get lost.
Yeah, right. And you keep sitting here and keep ordering your chai, breakfast, lunch. And when you're done, call me again so that I can pick up your dirty dishes. You know what, Raj? You are exactly like your father and your brother.
What did you say? Never again talk about my family. Idiot bitch.
Yeah.
Spoiling my whole thing.
Spoiled your day. You spoiled my life.
It was not a great day for Shilpa. At least she'll have a peaceful night. There's Raj. Started drinking? Well, let's watch what happens now.
Wow, in this time of social distancing, this is my best friend.
So tired.
You know, it's so nice to have some scotch after a long day. The whole day seems to be busy. Hey Shilpa.
What?
Hey, have the kids slept?
Yes, why?
Give me a hand, Shilpa. Come on, give me. Come.
Stop it, Raj. Can't you see I'm tired?
Come on, Shilpa. I had a few scotch and I'm in a very good mood. Come on.
भाड़ में गया तुम्हारा mood, Raj. Do you even know what time I woke up today? I woke up at 5 a.m. Did all the cooking, cleaning, बच्चों का homework, office work, and God knows what all, while you were sitting here on the couch with your laptop. You did not even come once to check if I needed any help. I am here to please you, but I cannot put a lipstick on if I like it for myself. You know what? You treat me like an animal the whole day. And at night, you want me to satisfy your internal animal. I'm just done. I just feel so trapped in this arranged marriage. I'm going to go and sleep in the kids' bedroom tonight.
Shilpa. Hey, Shilpa. Oh my God. This is the story of my life.
Well, what do you think? Do you know anyone who is an MCP, male chauvinistic pig? C.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm sure everyone loved it. Thank you so much, Thomas, Shamita, and Jantidi for such an amazing act. Thank you. And Thomas, you were a perfect villain.
Thank you. Yes, they both did a great job. Thank you.
Indeed. And that makes us wonder why in most homes, or I wouldn't say all, but in a lot of homes till date, why is it expected that women should be cooking, women should be looking after the most household chores? Isn't that a thought to think about? Well, we have next Priya Samant Parolkar. Priya,
Hi.
the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Gunjan. My name is Priya Samant, and I will be performing the character of Leela Benare from a very famous Indian playwright, Vijay Tendulkar's Marathi play, Shantata Court Salu Ahe, adapted in English as Silence, the Court is in Session. Leela Benare is a school teacher by profession, and she believes in living life queen size, but becomes a victim of the ruthless society's set standards of culture. Presenting Leela Benare. Act. They are holding an inquiry against me. But what can they do? What can they do? My teaching is perfect. I have put my whole life into this. And just because of one bit of a slander, they want to throw me out? Let them. I have not hurt anyone. If anybody has been hurt, it's been myself. But is that any kind of reason for throwing me out? Who are these people to tell me what I can do and what I cannot with my life? My life is mine. I have not sold it to anyone for a job. I will decide what I want to do with my life. My wishes are my own, my will is my own. And no one can kill it. No one. It's true. I did commit a sin. I was in love with my mother's brother. But in our strict home, in the prime of my unfolding youth, he was the one who gave love to me. He used to praise me every day. How was I supposed to know that if you felt like breaking into bits with someone and melting, if that person meant a whole world to you, and if he was your uncle, it's a sin. Why? I was hardly 14. I didn't even know what sin was. I insisted on marriage. I swear to my mother, I insisted on marriage, so I can live my dream openly. But my brave man, he turned his tail and he ran away. Again I fell in love. But as a grown woman, I threw my whole heart into this. I thought it will be different. This love is of an unusual intellect, an intelligent love. It isn't love at all, it is worship. But I made that same mistake again. I offered my body to the altar of that worship, and my intelligent God, he took those offerings and ran away. He wasn't God at all. He was a man. This body is a traitor. I despise this body. I hate this body. I love this body. A tender little bud of what will be lisping, crying, dancing his little feet away. My child, My whole existence lies in this body. And now I want this body for him alone. For him alone. Scene.
Wow. Very beautiful, very elegant, and of course, you're a born leader and actress, Priya. Thank you so much, Priya.
Thank you.
We have next Rohit Chandra. Rohit Chandra is doctor by profession and an artist by passion. He'll be presenting a piece extracted and translated by Jayanti Bandyopadhyay from a Bengali essay by Sarat Chatterjee. Rohit Chandra.
Thank you, Gunjan. We're starting the act. We take you back to 1921 in a classroom at the University of Calcutta. Professor Sarat Chatterjee will be speaking on the value of women. Professor. Professor.
Namaskar. My remarks will review the control of women's sexuality in India across the centuries, calling out male hypocrisy regarding chastity, sati, and devi status for widows. Through the ages, men have highly valued chastity in women. Chastity has been considered the most revered or prized female quality in scriptures and in epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata. However, all arguments for it have been one-sided, applicable only to women. One will find no such limitations placed upon men in scriptures and in epics. The rule makers were male pundits who lived in forests yet understood how society worked. They did not invent a comparable word to chastity or a term like faithfulness to wives to inconvenience their fellow men. They left it wide open for men to play the field. How convenient of them. The need for women to display and prove chastity reached its pinnacle with the ritual of sati, labeled as the most pious and pure act for a woman. A wife offered her body, her life, to the pyre along with her husband's corpse. When the British Raj made this ritual illegal, the pundits created a ruckus, trying to appeal to the Raj in England with borrowed funds from zamindars. They claimed in the appeal that abolishing sati would mean felling the Hindu religion. Was this woman worship? When the appeal was rejected, the pundits, as self-appointed societal defenders, had to invent other ways to maintain their control over women. They then assigned the goddess status to widows, claiming that the British did not appreciate the sanctity of Hinduism. They found long-forgotten scriptures to justify setting new austerity rules on widows to make them goddess-like or chaste, not wearing any jewelry, eating only once a day, and wearing only white for purity. They proudly declared that such purity or demigoddess, Devi characteristics only existed amongst Hindus. But they prohibited such Devis from participating in happy occasions like weddings, while allowing them only to cook for funerals. So men could bring home 100 brides without any restrictions, while a poor 12-year-old widow was uplifted to Devi status without any chance at remarriage? Was this really woman worship? The strange aspect, however, is that women themselves make the mistake of internalizing men's rules and find contentment in accepting such rules as their own desires. If women have ever achieved proper recognition and earned deserved respect in any country, it has been possible only because they earned respect on their own and not because it was given to them by men. In ancient Egypt and ancient India during the Vedic period, women became successful when they created scriptures. Now, in 1921, they are not even allowed to touch scriptures. When women are not swayed by men's rules or demands, when they demand what they want, women have realized their proper value. Change has always come from women. I do not know what men will think after hearing my views, but I could not silence myself worrying about offending religious scriptures or our cultural norms. Namaskar. Scene.
Thank you so much, Rohit. Very profound indeed. And you are very, very articulate. Thank you so much for your time. We have next Ketan Dave and Dipali Trivedi, his wife, assisting him in the act.
Hey, thank you, Gunjan. Just a correction, my wife named Viral Dave.
My apologies.
No worries, that's fine. I'll be performing the act of Swami Vivekananda. This is an interview from published in Prabuddha Bharata newspaper in December 1898. And the excerpt is from that interview, which was compiled and edited for this act purposes by our own Subratata. So here we go, act.
A beautiful Himalayan valley. Sunny Sunday morning in the month of December, year is 1898. Ladies and gentlemen, Swami Vivekananda is with us to discuss the past, present and future of Indian women. Namaskar, Swamiji. My first question. Are you entirely satisfied with the position of women amongst us?
By no means. But our right of interference is limited entirely to giving education. Men must be put in a position to solve their own in their own. No one can or out to do it. And our Indian women are as capable of doing it as any in the world.
How do you account for the evil influence denying equal rights to women, which you attribute to Buddhism?
Modern Hinduism is largely Puranika, that is post-Buddhistic in origin. Lord Buddha, the greatest of men, was a marvelous organizer, and he carried the world by this means. But his religion was the religion of monastic order, and therefore it had an evil effect of creating the very robe of the monk honored. He also introduced for the first time the community life of religious houses, and thereby making the women inferior to men. Since the great abbesses could take no important step without the advice of certain abbots, it served its immediate object, the solidarity of the faith, you see. Only its far-reaching effects are to be deplored.
But sannyasa is recognized in Vedas.
Of course it is, but without making any distinction between men and women. Do you remember how Yajnavalakya was questioned at the court of King Janaka? His principal examiner was Vachak Navi, the maiden orator, Brahmavati. As the word of the day was, like two shining arrows in the hands of the skilled archer, she says, are my questions. Her sex is not even commented upon. Again, could anything be more complete than the equality of boys and girls in our old forest universities? Read the story of Shakuntala and then see if Tennyson's Princess has anything to teach us.
You have a wonderful way of revealing the glories of our past, Swamiji.
Perhaps because I have seen both sides of the world, and I know that the race that produced Sita, even if it only dreamt of her, has the reverence of woman that is unmatched on the earth. And another thing I want to tell you is that at the moment, there is many a burden-bound legal tightness and lot of responsibilities on the shoulders of Western women that is utterly unknown to ours. We have our wrong and our exceptions, but so have they. We must not forget that across the globe, the general effort is to express love, and tenderness and uprightness, and the national customs are only the nearest vehicles of this expression. With regards to the domestic virtues, I have no hesitation in saying that our Indians in many ways have advantage over all others.
Then have our women any problems at all, Swamiji?
Of course, they have many and grave problems, but none that are not to be solved by that magic word, education.
So you consider that there should be a religious element in education?
I look upon the religion as the innermost core of the education. Mind it, I do not mean my own or anyone else's opinion about the religion. I think the teacher should take pupils' starting point in this, as in other aspects, and then enable her to develop along her own least line of resistance.
And so what would you say, Swamiji, to the women of this country?
Why only to the women of this country? I would say exactly what I say to the men. Believe in India and in our Indian faith. Be strong, be hopeful and unashamed. And remember that with something to take, Indians have immeasurably more to give than any other people in the world.
Scene. Scene.
Wow, Ketan, that was fantastic. Getting a man's perspective on women's problem is always great, and you pointed it out very nicely. Great get-up, by the way. Awesome.
Thank you, Sugandha.
So, friends, our next guest is a very celebrated name in the theater community, and it is not easy to secure an appointment with her, but today she has agreed to grace Weave with her presence. So let me present Deborah Wise to you. Deborah Wise is the artistic director of Underground Railway Theatre, which she co-founded 40 years ago. Inspired by the activist collaborative spirit of its namesake, URT created and toured nationally plays exploring themes ranging from the arms race to homelessness, literacy, environmental racism, and reproductive rights. URT also performed puppet spectacles with the Boston Symphony, and for 5 years produced the Women on Top Festival of New Works by Female Theatre Artists. 12 years ago, URT partnered with Nora to build Central Square Theatre, now its home. Deborah has collaborated with SETU many times, and we are very thankful to Deborah for that. On The Disappearing Number, Once Upon a Time in Bollywood, Gods at the Taj, to name just a few. Deborah will do a piece from one of URT's touring productions, Washed Up Middle-Aged Women, based on interviews. I feel Deborah is forever young. She does amazing work and such a powerhouse. But according to Deborah, she is now well beyond midlife. She wanted to share this monologue, and that is almost word to word from a conversation with a dear friend who was about to turn 40. And Deborah will be supported by the interviewer in this act. Welcome, Deborah. We are so glad to have you. So you are not middle-aged?
Me? No.
What are your associations with middle age?
Well, the interesting thing for us is that everybody's younger than they used to be. I mean, 40 is younger than it used to be, and 50 and 60 are too. So for better or for worse, we're all maintaining a kind of, we're not changing as much when we get older in some ways. So I guess, I don't know, middle-aged. An old guy in a gray suit.
So what about women?
Oh, well, I guess I just think of mothers whose kids are teenagers now. Right. So I read this great thing by this friend of mine suggested that I have a dinner party for my 40th birthday. So when we got off the phone, I got so excited thinking about the invitation that I decided, oh, I had to have the party, because on the cover, it would fold, like this. And on the cover would be this great quote from this writer who writes for Village Voice called Problem Lady. She answers people's problems. Well, she writes the questions and the answers. But anyway, this woman writes in and she says, I don't know, I'm 40. I never go out with men. I never even think about it. I just sort of want to, I'm getting into dogs. I'm raising a dog. Do you think this is a problem? And Problem Lady writes back. She says, once an unmarried woman turning 40 would have two options: raise dogs or wear lower and lower cut dresses. But you are a baby boomer. And you are on the cutting edge. You are on the thin edge of the wedge of change. And you owe it to yourself to keep going out there with no role models and reinventing new options and having the greatest time of your life, and fuck them if they can't take a joke, and don't you dare lay down and die. And then you would open the invitation up and it would say, just to get the issues on the table.
Do you have any role models?
Oh, well, let me think. Well, my friend, Linda. she's always telling me that turning 40 is the best thing that ever happens to you, that you have a kind of a renaissance, that I'm going to love it. And I can believe it. I mean, I think I can believe it. Because, well, it all has to do with being alone. That's my big theme. And my second biggest theme is work. And my third biggest theme is, where do I live? So they're all kind of big, but it's like figuring them out all at once, I don't know. I am starting to get this horrible idea that it's like my fate to be this person on her own. I mean, it's very complicated because I think about buying this apartment. I think about fixing it up, and I don't know what city it's going to be in, but it's going to have really nice bookshelves, and I'm going to have dinner parties. I'll invite people over. That seems like growing up, right? But if you're living alone, if you are alone, is that life? I mean, seriously. Well, I'm exaggerating, but if you're not in some kind of relationship with somebody, I mean, of course, it doesn't have to be a marriage, but I don't know, a man, a child, a bunch of women. I do have this serious, well, not serious, but slightly serious idea of checking out a religious order because, well, okay, here it is. My hair is getting thinner. That wouldn't be a problem. I mean, looks, forget looks. That disappears as an issue in life. You don't have to spend your time in a gym, but you get love because it's God's love. Now that's a part of the church that I really believe in, this love in action, radical Christianity. Of course, this wouldn't be your typical contemplative disorder. I mean, people would be going to El Salvador and of course, that's really very comical because I hate being too far away from the comforts of middle-class American life. I mean, if it was 100 degrees and horrible food and no bathrooms, I would be miserable. But the idea is that I would be transformed by God's love coursing through my body. This whole idea of love, it's this very sad thing I can't believe I'm doing without. I mean, I just can't believe it. I mean, I know my friends love me. My family loves me. Very loving family, in fact, Italian family, but it just doesn't really exist in my life. So that wouldn't be a problem. Let's see, and you can get fat, and you can wear the wimple on your hair. Oh, and you can change the world, right? Which is something I have always been very interested in doing. The thing I like best about this idea of joining a religious order is the ring. Yes, it would give me this idea that I had done something as definitive in my life as getting married, because nuns do marry Jesus, right? So then if somebody asks you, like they always do, so, are you seeing anybody? You can just smile and say, yeah, sort of.
Wow.
Thank you.
So, Deborah, I feel thoroughly incompetent even to comment on it. But what I can say is that I wanted you to go on and on and on and not to stop. It is an absolute honor to have you.
Well, it's an honor to be here. This is a great event. Congratulations to you all. It's been wonderful.
And we really hope that you keep coming, visiting us at SETU.
I hope you keep inviting me. Thank you very much.
This was so much fun, Deborah. I mean, you should see the comment section. People are, bombarding their thoughts about your act. It was very, very relatable, very authentic. And I mean, me personally, I'm almost in love with this character. I was thoroughly smiling, throughout your act. Thank you so much, Deborah, for your time. We have next another beautiful act by Monisha Prakash. Monisha, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Gunjan. Hi, everyone. Determined, strong, fearless women activists can be found anywhere in the world and can be found within any of us. So today I will be portraying two such remarkable women who were never afraid to speak up against injustice. I will start with Erin Brockovich. Oh, see, now that pisses me off. First of all, ever since the dimmer, we got more than 400 plaintiffs. And let's be honest, we all know there are more out there. They may not be sophisticated, but they do know how to divide. And $20 million is a shit when it's split between them. Second of all, these people don't dream about being rich. They dream about being able to watch their kids swim in a pool of water and without worrying about that they'll have to have a hysterectomy at the age of 20, like Rosa Diaz, a client of ours. Or have their spine deteriorate, like Stan Bloom, another client of ours. So before you come back with another lame-ass offer, I want you to think real hard about what your spine is worth, Mr. Walker. Or what would you expect someone to pay you for your uterus, Ms. Sanchez? And then you take out your calculator and multiply that number by 100. Anything less than that is a waste of our time. This meeting is over now. I will now portray Rajni from the Indian television series. She is another remarkable woman who was righting wrongs every day in her life. Bhai Sahab, Dr. Mala just told me that you are here to abort the fetus because it's a girl. Now I know you'll go to another doctor if you refuse, so I'm here to ask you to think about it once again. First of all, female infanticide is a heinous crime and a legal offense. Do you want to burden yourself with this murder for the rest of your life? Murder, Bhai Sahab, because that is what it is. Please, Bhai Sahab, do not blame your wife for this. Medical science has proven that it's the man's sperm that decides the sex of the baby. It is not in a woman's hands. Besides, Bhai Sahab, did you even care to find out what your wife wants? Maybe she wants a girl. Or did you think that her opinion doesn't matter? And what if, Bhai Sahab, your second child is a girl child too? Will you murder her again? I know, Bhai Sahab, you want a son so he can carry your lineage forward. But think about it. Your daughter's children will be called your grandkids too. And just like your mother is a woman and you are carrying her father's lineage forward. Are Bhai Sahab, you're talking about the times when women needed to stay within the four walls of their home. Times have changed now. With higher education, women are liberated. After becoming a father of a beautiful little girl, you'll be a proud father when she achieves great things. Bhai Sahib, I can see your face is softening. I think you want this baby, right? Thank you, Bhai Sahib. You have made the right choice. Scene.
Only you could have done from Erin Brockovich to Rajini. Great choices and a very powerful act.
Thanks, Sugandha.
Now I will move to the last section of Weave, and I will invite Semanti Das for a very interesting act, Letters. Semanti, welcome.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Semanti, I can hear you very well.
Thank you. I'm going to read a letter named Sri Patra, a letter from the wife, a short story by Rabindranath Tagore published in 1914. I thank Subrata for choosing me this piece and helping me on the write-up. Beautiful and independent-minded village girl Mrinal is married into an aristocrat family from the city. But her life changed drastically seeing a young girl's suicide within the family. The girl was a victim of domestic violence. Act. Today, we have been married 15 years. Yet not until today have I written you a letter. Today, I am standing at the edge of the ocean and realized that I also have other relationships with the world. So I find the courage to leave you and write this letter as someone independent. Long ago, my brother and I both came down with fever. My brother died. I survived. All the neighbors whispered, Mrinal is a girl. That's why she lived. If she's been a boy, she couldn't have been saved. The god of death is wise in his deadly robbery. He only takes things of value. Your mother took all the trouble to travel from city to our distant village. Why? In Bengal, no one has to search for jaundice, dysentery, or a bride. Father's heart began to pound. Mother started repeating Durga name. With what offering could a country priest satisfy a city god? All they could rely upon was their girl's beauty. The wedding flutes wailed, I came to live in your home. But your family didn't want me out of love, but for my beauty as a showpiece. It didn't take long for you to forget that I have a beauty. And I have something else. Outside all the domestic duties of your household, something that none of you knew. Secretly, I wrote poems. There lay my freedom. There I could express myself freely. Whatever it was in me that kept you loving your wife, detached from your family. But you didn't like it, didn't even recognize it. In all those 15 years, none of you could ever found out that I was a poet. The day the death's flute wailed through the girl's soul, I heard those notes float across the river. I could feel it touch within my chest. Oh, Mrinal, you have nothing to fear. You think I'm going to kill myself? Don't worry. I will be saved. But your path will never cross with mine. Iti Mrinal. Sin.
Samanthi, beautiful. You bring the anguish and pain of Mrinal so well. You looked the part, you acted it so well. My friend, amazing job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samanthi. Now I will invite another great performer, Shamita Bell, who brings in a very powerful act. Welcome, Shamita.
Thank you. Hi, I will be enacting Draupadi from the playwright of Peter Brook's playwright Mahabharata, The Exile in the Forest. Draupadi was married to Pandavas, the 5 brothers. Yudhishthir, succumbing to his weakness, lost everything in gambling, including Draupadi. This led to her Chirharan and also 13 years of exile in forest. But Draupadi never forgot this humiliation. In this monologue, she's trying to persuade Yudhishthir to rise up, take the weapons, and fight for her pride, which eventually led to the Great War of Mahabharata. So here it is. Act. We had a kingdom. Or did I just dream it? I saw you on the throne. You were perfumed and radiant. But now, I see an anxious man squatting on the heap of weeds. And with you, your brothers, my husbands. Look at them. I was dragged in front of everyone, clothed in a single robe stained in my blood. The sight of a woman made men laugh. My husbands were there. I've given each one of them a son. I needed their aid. And yet, Duryodhan is alive. I despise your strength. I have another question. You are just. You have no pride. You only speak words of truth. How could the idea of the game get hold of you? How could you agree to play and lose everything? Even your brothers, even your wife. I don't understand. Something in me tells me that a man is nothing. He just has his nature imposed upon him. Nothing comes from himself. He's like a tree that falls into the river and is swept away, like a bull that is led by the thread of pearls threaded through his nose. All that we think, all that we say is nothing but just a game. Just moving shadows. Yes, I expected a magician. But destiny is vicious. It plays tricks on us, and the Creator himself takes sides. I condemn him. I know, Yudhishthir, you have the same question. That why is this one act rewarded and this one not? But then you will say, leave it up to the time. But why do you bow before this monster? I know you would say that one must not think about the rewards and just do his dharma. But tell me, Yudhishthir, did your dharma force you to play? Yudhishthir, I have more than love for you. I have respect from the very first day. But something in your heart eludes me and saps my strength. A man who doesn't know why he is alive. What is his will? What hope sustains him? Happiness is for the man who acts. Rise up, Yudhishthir. Rise up. Take your weapons. Don't leave us in this desert. Scene.
Shamita, you bring the pain and power of Draupadi so beautifully. This was 5,000 years ago, and the struggle is still on. I think women look for all their life is all within themselves, just like the musk deer keeps looking. Thank you, Shamata.
Thank you.
Now we will move to our another act performed by Chandrika and supported by Nilay Mukherjee. Welcome, Chandrika.
Thank you, Sugandha. This monologue is from the movie Fences, written by August Wilson, and I will be playing the part of Rose, and my partner is?
Niloy Mukherjee.
He'll be playing Troy. The monologue is about the perennial problem of extramarital affairs in so many relationships across cultures, races, and classes. The anguish and devastation left behind is what the monologue is about. Act. We are not talking about baseball. We are talking about you going off to lay in bed with another woman and then bringing it home to me. That's what we are talking about.
Rose,
I'm talking about no baseball.
Rose, you're not listening to me, all right? I am trying to explain it to you in the best way I know how. It's not easy for me to admit that I've been standing in the same place for 18 years.
I've been with you. I've been right there with you. I got a life too. I gave 18 years of my life to stand in the same spot with you. Don't you think I wanted other things? Don't you think I have hopes and dreams? What about my life? What about me? Don't you think it ever crossed my mind to know other men? To lay somewhere and forget all my dreams? That I wanted someone to make me laugh so that I could feel good about myself. You're not the only one with wants and needs. But I held on to you, Troy. I took all my feelings, my needs, my wants, my dreams, and I buried them inside you. I planted a seed and watched and prayed over it. I planted myself inside you and waited to bloom. But it didn't take no 18 years to know that the soil was hard and rocky and it was never ever going to bloom. But I held on to you, Troy. I held you tighter. It was my husband. I owed you everything I had, every part of me that I could find to give you. And upstairs in that bedroom, with darkness falling on me, everything that I had to God to try and erase the doubt that you wasn't the finest man in the world. That wherever you were going, I wanted to go with you because you was my husband. Because that is the only way I was going to survive as your wife. You're always talking about what you have to give and what you don't have to give, Troy. But you take, and you take. Scene.
Very nice, Chandrika and Aloy. The perennial problem of extramarital affair, it is all over, everywhere, beyond times, and thank you for bringing that out.
Thank you.
I sometimes wonder how many things women have to face. One after the other, we have monologues touching on different topics. And I know who chose it. Supradas, thank you so much for choosing a variety of monologues for us. Thank you. And some I think did themselves, but largely by Suprada. Thank you. Next, I'll invite Roshni. What I can say about that is it's going to be powerful and it will make you sit on the edge. Welcome, Roshni.
I'm unable to, okay, I'm trying.
Yes, we can see you and hear you.
So the title of my act, which I wrote up myself, is The Disrobing of Duryodhan. It's about the victory over patriarchy. It's about a breakthrough for a young woman who has gone from being a dutiful daughter to an abused wife, finally realizing that her life and her destiny are in her own hands. So the scene begins in her bedroom with her husband.
But why can't I take the job? It's such a good offer. But it's not in New York. It's only a half hour away. I don't know when New York comes into the picture. The last time you made me quit a job because you thought I had a thing going on with my boss. This time, it's the commute. You know, I don't know what goes on in your head, but you are being so unreasonable. You're killing my career. Any aspirations? What? You want to hit me again? That always makes you feel good. Strong, powerful, right? Like you own me. I am tired. Do you understand how tired I am of this pretense? My fake smiles, hiding of my bruises. And you know, I get these glances from people, like they know I'm trying to hide something. How embarrassing is that for me? Look, my parents are in the next room. I do not want them to hear us. I do not want them to find out how abusive you are. So please, let me go freshen up. I need to be outside with them. And with our daughter, I've been out all day. Oh God! How much more of this insanity can I take? It's easy for them to say, till death do us part. But what if my soul is dead? Does that matter? Does that count? Okay, you've got to stop this. You've got to stop the crying, stop the self-pity. Take charge of your life. It's your life, not your mother's, not your father's, not your husband's, yours. And more importantly, you cannot set this example for your daughter. So go outside, take charge of your life. Be brave. Hi, Mom. Guess what? I got that job. Yep, they offered it to me today and I have to accept it. So we won't cook dinner. We don't need to. We're going to go out and celebrate when Bhai comes home. In the meantime, Mom, can you please make us some tea? I'm so tired. And you, my little one, did you miss me? You missed me, little chunky, my little baby doll? Come to Mama. Come to Mama. I missed you too. Sing.
Roshni, very powerfully done. A great choice. Domestic violence is not a private matter. And thank you for bringing that out here.
You're welcome. Thank you for putting up with me.
It's always a delight. I will now invite my co-host, the lovely, chirpy, bubbly Gunjan Kutiyala.
Thank you, Sugandha. I'll be presenting before you guys today Vagina Monologue by Eve Ensler, My Short Skirt Act. It's not an invitation, a provocation, or an indication that I want it, I'll give it, or I hook. My short skirt is not begging for it. My short skirt is not asking you to rip it off me or pull it down. My short skirt is not a legal reason for raping me, although it has been before, but it will not stand anymore in the new court. My short skirt, believe it or not, has nothing to do with you. My short skirt is about discovering the power of my lower cuffs. It's about feeling the cool autumn air traveling through my inner thighs. It's about allowing everything that I see, feel, pass, live inside. My short skirt is not a proof that I'm stupid, undecided, or malleable little girl. My short skirt is my defiance. I will not let you make me afraid. My short skirt is not showing off. This is who I am. Before you ask me to cover it or tone it down, get used to it. My short skirt is my happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I'm here and I'm hot. My short skirt is a liberation flag in the women's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country. My short skirt is turquoise water with swimming colored fish. A summer festival in the starry dark. A bird calling. A train arriving through the foreign town. A wild spin. A full breath. A tango dip. An initiation, appreciation, and excitation. But mainly, my short skirt and everything underneath it is mine, mine, mine. Scene.
Wow, Gunjan, yours, yours, and yours. I cannot agree more with that.
Thank you.
It is very important people know that we dress up for our own self, not for others.
Indeed, and we don't want to get judged because of what we wear or what we do.
And we don't want any crime against women just because they're being dressed up a certain way. To all the women, I want to say, जला के भस्म कर उसे जो क्रूरता का जाल है, तू आरती की लौ नहीं, तू क्रांति की मशाल है. Thank you, Gunjan.
Thank you. We are not available just because we wear what we want to wear. Thank you.
On that note, I will invite the lovely Rohini Iris Pola, supported by Sridhar Bola, for a very interesting act. Welcome, Rohini.
Thank you. I am Rohini Pola, and I will be portraying Elizabeth Bennet in Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. The conversation consists of Darcy's proposal and Elizabeth's rejection. Supporting lines for Mr. Darcy will be read by Sridhar Pola. Act.
In vain I have struggled. It will not do. My feelings will not be repressed. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you. In declaring myself thus, I am fully aware that I will be going expressly against the wishes of my family my friends, and I hardly need to add my own better judgment. But it cannot be helped. Almost from the earliest moments of our acquaintance, I have come to feel for you a passionate admiration and regard, which despite all my struggles has overcome every rational objection of mine. And I beg you most fervently to relieve my suffering and consent to be my wife.
In such cases as these, I believe the established mode is to express a sense of obligation. But I cannot. I'm sorry to cause pain to anyone, but it was most unconsciously done, and I hope will be of short duration.
And this is all the reply I am to expect? I might wonder why, with so little effort at civility, I'm rejected.
And I might wonder why, with so evident a desire to insult and offend me, you choose to tell me that you like me, against your will, against your reason, and even against your character. Was this not some excuse for incivility, if I was uncivil? I have every reason in the world to think ill of you. Do you think any consideration would tempt me to accept the man who's been the means of ruining the happiness of my most beloved sister? Can you deny you have done it?
I have no wish to deny it. I did everything in my power to separate my friend from your sister, and I rejoice in my success. Towards him, I have been kinder than towards myself.
But it's not merely that on which my dislike of you is founded. Long before it had taken place, my dislike of you was decided when I heard Mr. Wickham's stories of your dealings with him. How can you defend yourself on that subject?
You take an eager interest in that gentleman's concerns. So this is your opinion of me. My faults by this calculation are heavy indeed. But perhaps these offenses might have been overlooked had not your pride been hurt by the honest confession of the scruples that had long prevented me from forming any serious design on you. Had I concealed my struggles and flattered you instead. But disguise of every sort is my abhorrence. Nor am I ashamed of the feelings I related. They were natural and just. Could you expect me to rejoice in the inferiority of your connection? To congratulate myself in the hope of relations whose condition in life is so decidedly below my own?
You are mistaken, Mr. Darcy. The mode of your declaration merely spared me any concern I might have felt in refusing you had you behaved in a more gentlemanlike manner. You could not have made me the offer of your hand in any possible way that could have tempted me to accept it. From the very beginning, your manners impressed me with the fullest belief of your arrogance, your conceit, and your selfish disdain for the feelings of others. I had not known you a month before I felt you were the last man in the world whom I could ever marry.
You have said quite enough, madam. I perfectly comprehend your feelings, and now have only to be ashamed of what my own have been. Please forgive me for having taken up your time, and please accept my best wishes for your health and happiness.
Scene.
Wow, guys, what a proposal, and wow, rejection. Very nicely performed, as always. Rohini and Sridhar, great team, a power couple.
I enjoy the rejection every time.
Thank you very much.
And what a beautiful ending indeed. Thank you, Sridhar and Rohini.
Thank you.
Okay, hope you all enjoyed the Eve and are intent to entertain you through Weave program by SETU. Well, I know some of our monologues left you with provoked thoughts. If you want to comment, you're welcome to do so, and we encourage you to share our event. Last but not the least, I would like to share that we at SETU are welcoming creativity seekers to join us. So if you would like to join SETU, you're welcome to connect with us. And we will be coming soon with our next theater event, which is 7 Steps Around Fire. Thank you all for your time today.
So Gunjan, tell me, how did you feel about the vagina monologues? You were outstanding, and so was everyone. I want to take this opportunity to thank a few people, because an event like this cannot happen on its own. There is a huge team that has been working tirelessly around the clock. So I will start by saying a big, big thanks to Subrata, our director, the man who conceptualized it. A big thanks to him for thinking of weave. He could have chosen any other topic, but thank you for choosing women empowerment. Thank you, Jayanti Bandyopadhyay, our co-founder, who is always there to support us wherever we need her. Thank you to Sanjay and Krishan, who came up with that wonderful poster that made us look like big stars. Thank you, Sanjay.
Celebrities.
We are.
Thank you, Jayanti. Thank you. And a big thanks to the marketing team who made sure that this was buzzing all over past 15 days. The team comprising of Yogita Niharia, Ravi, and Rohini. Thank you so much for working hard. And last but not the least, no, not last. I have two more people to thank. First, I want to thank my co-host, the chirpy, bubbly, who always adds that spunk to any event, Mike Gunjan Kutiala. And lastly, the man who makes this possible. Because of him, we see each other and he controls it, sitting quietly, patiently. Anil Matta, our tech genius. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anil.
And
we appreciate all your background work. Thank you.
All the people out there, you all make it a success. Thank you for staying with us, watching this show with us, and always supporting SETU. And we always look forward to your support and your comments. Feel free to join us. We are always always extending and multiplying family. Thank you so much, friends. This is Sugandha Gopal signing off.
And this is Gunjan Kutiala. Last but not the least, 3 cheers for SETU, everyone. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.